Okay, so this video will quickly go through creating an online assessment or an online quiz or test using Schoology and the question types that I'm going to show you will be multiple choice, true, false, and matching. Okay, um, and this assumes you've never done this before in Schoology. So we're going to go to Schoology. And we're going to go to courses, pick one of your courses. You could always copy the quiz to another course. I organize all my assignments, all my materials in folders, kind of like unit folders. So you can click into the folder you want to put your quiz in. And then you're going to click Add Materials. And you want to add Test and Quiz. And the icon for that's this green puzzle piece, okay? You're going to give your quiz a name. And you're going to give it some point value, whatever you want. You're going to give it a gradebook category. And you're also going to set a due date. And then click Create. Now remember, all my training videos, I go at regular speed. So you need to pause, rewind, or fast forward based on your own use of this video, okay? So I'm going to click Create. So questions. We have true, false, multiple choice, and ordering. No, sorry, matching. Those are the three choices I'm going to cover. There's also ordering and short answers and fill in the blanks. So if you want to explore how to use those, they're pretty straightforward. But for right now, this video, I'm just going to do true, false, multiple choice, and matching. Those are the main three that I use. Start with true, false. And I'm going to put some comment. And that comment is either true or false. And again, you can change, doesn't have to say true. You could have speed. It could be retyped in Spanish if you want to, or something like that. But that's otherwise the default true, false options. And you set the correct answer. So the default is true, but if your comment is actually a false comment, then you can change that to false. Okay, depending on what you want what the correct answer is for this comment, true or false. All right. And said that was going to be false, so it's false. And then you also can decide how many points you want to add to it or have it equate to. I make all my points 1. All my questions are worth 1 point. But if you want to weigh some questions heavier than others, you can play with the points here as you would want. All right, so I'm going to create this question. And I have one question now in my quiz. And I want to add another question. So let's take a look at multiple choice. So for multiple choice, I'll put in here, this is where you put your question. Question goes here. And you have all these things you can add. You can put a link in there. You can add pictures, whatever you need. You have all this editing capability here for your question. All right. When you're done with your question, you want to put in your choice. So choice 1, and I'm going to make that the right answer. I'm going to put my right answer there. And then I've got choice 2, choice 3, choice 4. There defaults to 4 choices. If you want to add a choice, if you want 5, you can just add 1 and put that in there. But if you don't need that extra one there, just click remove blank, right? And then I always click on random choices. That way, or randomized choices. That way, when students are shoulder apart from each other in a classroom environment, their multiple choices are sorted differently for each question. So they can't match, question 1, answer A, to their neighbors. Question 1, answer A. It would be different. And because I do that, I just make the top choice always the correct choice. And you'll see when I preview the quiz for you how this will randomize these choices here for you. Okay? So There's also some stuff about partial credit. I never do any of this. I just click on randomize choices, and then play with the points if you want this question to be worth more than 1 point, and create a question. And finally, I'll show you matching. And so I'm going to make some kind of comment or question here. Let's try that again. All right. So here would be the Q1 and the A1, right? For question and answer. Question 2, answer 2. Question 3, answer 3. And let's say I'm just going to match these 3. So I'm going to remove the blank because I just need 3. And that's it. Now I have this lined up. Don't worry. These answers will be sorted differently so that they're not matching up like they are here. You're just letting Schoology know what the right answer is to this question and all the way down, right? So I'm going to add or click on create question. So now I have 3 questions, and I just keep going, keep adding questions for my quiz. There's no limit to how many questions you can add. And again, in a future training video, I'll show you how you can add these questions to your question bank and reuse these questions for future quizzes. Or you could even reuse this quiz if you wanted to, if nothing was going to change. But if you wanted to add these questions to a bigger test, like for a final, that's where the question bank will help. But I'll cover that in a future video on how to do that. So you have your questions. When you're done with your questions, you need to go to settings. And with settings, don't forget to click save changes before you leave the screen. First of all, submissions, you got to enable it. Make sure you enable it before you assign it. Otherwise, the students won't be able to take it, and they'll tell you, I can't take this. It won't let me take it. And then you'll have to go in here, and I'll show you how to make edits after you've created it. Time limit, that's up to you. Number of attempts, also up to you. I recommend at least 2 attempts in case the students have some kind of technical issue. And you also can choose between, which score it keeps, whether it's the last score, the high score, or an average of the 2. I usually go with high score if I'm going to allow multiple attempts. Randomize order is really important. You say yes to this. This helps keep the students more honest. They can't compare problem 1 to problem 1 to problem 1 for their shoulder partners. Randomize order will put the problems in a different order. Okay, so I highly recommend yes to this. And looking down, question review, say no to this so that they can't go back and see which ones they miss. Resumable, click yes to this. This is an accommodation that you can say you make for RSP and SDC students that might not be able to finish the quiz in a class time or within your time limit if you put a time limit there. View submissions, I always say no. Again, we don't want them to see the results. We want them to see the results, their score, but we don't want them to see which ones they missed. You, the teacher, get to see that, but they don't get to see that, because then if you allow multiple attempts, it's gonna give them an advantage the second time they take it. So this is what I go with, okay? And I'm gonna click Save Changes. That's important to do before you leave the screen. There it is. Okay, so now those settings are all changed. And that's all you got to do. Go back to your questions. If you want to add more questions, you can. And when you're done with it, you can you've already saved, by saving the settings, you've already saved it. So you can go ahead now and just go back. And you can see your quiz right here has been assigned. Okay, if you click on it, this will give you it's going to take you back where you can make the edits. The student, when they click on it, they'll actually see this view. It'll ask them to start a new attempt, and this is how your quiz will look like to them. Okay, and you could see here that the questions are in a different order than we put them in, because we have our matching here first. And you could also see that these are not in the order that we put them in, right? But they do match up, and they won't, so you have question 1, 2, and 3, but then, that one matched up, but that one's there and that one's there. It's kind of cool when you take it because it draws lines too. Anyway, true, false, and there's the multiple choice. Again, it's scrambled. Okay, so you could see that the answer is actually B, but we had, when we put it in, it was at the top. Okay, so that is what that looks like as far as the quiz goes. Leave that. And this also, you can click on the results. This is where you can see the results by student. So click on that tab. Of course, no students have taken this yet, so it shows all the students, and it shows that they haven't taken it. But it'll also show you their latest attempt and anything that they've submitted. So this is where you can go and take a look at that, as far as scores and all that. All right, so back here, that's about it. If you want to make changes to this part of it, like put a picture on it or whatever, just go back to edit, and that gets you back to here. So you can change the date, the due date, the name, the points. You can make changes to the initial details that we set up for this quiz. All right, so good luck with that. Hopefully this was informative. I'll make another video in a day or two that covers how to take that quiz and then make it into a question bank. Move those questions into a question bank. But we'll stop here because we're getting kind of long on this video. Anyway, good luck. Take care.